UK net migration drops sharply to 171,000, the lowest since COVID. Yes, it's the big story of the day. Even the Prime Minister's bragging about it. Imagine bragging about that. It's only a sharp drop because that fat porridge-faced albino jellyfish, Mr. Johnson, let in over 1 million people in a year. And I know everybody watching this knows why they always say net migration, because it makes it sound better, doesn't it? What they don't tell you is hundreds of thousands of people like me who actually worked for a living fled the UK, and far more than 190,000 illiterate half-wits with criminal records moved in. Yeah. So we'll look at some numbers, talk about the actual figures, and I'll point out why the Prime Minister is basically bragging about being the most handsome man on the Burns unit. Brilliant. Right, Keir Starmer posted this. He said net migration has fallen 82%. Again, bragging about that is laugh out loud funny to anybody who knows the actual statistics. Fatty Johnson let in over 1 million unvetted, hairy-ass foreign men. It's really quite unbelievable that they think this is something worth bragging about. It's like a 40-stone man who starts every morning with a breakfast of 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's and 12 jammy donuts, bragging because he's down to 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's and 11 jammy donuts. You got nothing to brag about. I do note though, like I've been telling you lot for the last 2 years, what is interesting about it is that Starmer, moron that he is doing the exact same thing Johnson did, which is pandering to people that'll never ever vote for him. I was banging that drum ceaselessly under the Johnson administration. I was sick of telling them, shrieking at them. I think I even wrote an angry letter to the Conservative Party, saying to them, why are you pandering to people who will never ever support you? And I don't want to give them any free advice, but surely it doesn't take spads and political science majors to point out the painfully obvious. And am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is anybody who likes my channel going to now vote for Starmer because he's slightly cut immigration? Honestly, is anyone who thinks that mass migration is the root cause of all of our problems, is anybody watching this video now going to go, oh, actually, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely going to vote for Keir. He's my man. No, they aren't, are they? They aren't. And this attitude that British politicians have had, ever since Blair really, is truly ludicrous. It makes no sense at all to me. Trump plays to his base because he knows no matter what he says or does, dyed-in-the-wool lefties aren't going to go, oh, well, I suppose the president did really well on this one trivial issue that the left care about. Oh, we might as well vote for him then. Yeah, send me a MAGA hat. I'll proudly wear that at the next gay pride parade I'm in attendance. Yeah, it makes loads of sense, doesn't it? Get a big stars and stripes dildo, smash it up your dirt box, and then walk down the high street past the primary school with your MAGA hat on. It matches. Brilliant. I can see all of them doing that. You play to your base. Johnson spent his entire term pandering to the left, to true lunacy, so that come the general election, people who voted for him, I was one of them, I was daft enough to vote for the fat, horrible, slippery fanny rat that he is. I voted for him. And then he spent 4 years pissing in my face and telling me it's raining. Nobody Conservative wants to vote for someone who throws the borders open, and nobody who's left-wing will vote for Boris Johnson, ever, no matter what he does. He could throw his manifesto out the window, go on television in a big blue and yellow EU jumpsuit, proclaim he was wrong about everything, and he wants to rejoin the EU, and then top it all off by pulling Owen Jones off on Channel 4 News, and still everybody who's left-wing would vote for the Labour Party or the Greens. It blows my mind that nobody understands this. So anyway, rant over. Let's just quickly look at the numbers and see why tallest dwarf in the pub, Keir Starmer, thinks an 80% reduction from the biggest mass immigration to the United Kingdom in human history ever. And it is. That's not hyperbolic. I'm sick of left-wing wankers like Stuart Lee talking about the Huguenots. Letting in over 1 million people in 1 year is the biggest migration since the creation of Stonehenge. So it's not really hard to drop their numbers a bit, is it? Right, here's the actual numbers live from the BBC. The story's still got its own live stream on their homepage. Net migrations continue to fall, although there was a suspicious methodology change between July and March, so we'll have to look into exactly what the numbers say there. If there's one thing that our MPs are good at, in fact, I think it's the only thing they're good at, it's lying by omission. Well, lying in general and fudging numbers, so I'd be interested to know what that changes. But there has indeed been a drop in total arrivals. Net migration now stands at exactly 171,000 in 2025, but give or take a couple of 100,000 illegals, yeah. Everyone knows that. Go to any kebab shop in Linthorpe Road in Borough, and there'll be 25 people not on any list that have got about as much right to be in the UK as Osama bin Laden. So the numbers are wrong, just for starters. But the official numbers are slightly better, so there has indeed been something of a drop. Let's just leave it at that. As we all know, the figure reached a peak of 944,000, so again, if you include the hundreds of thousands of British people that left, hard-working, disciplined, tax-paying, non-criminal British people that left, over 1 million relative rattling, barely literate religious zealots moved in. Hence the reason we've now got voodoo magic taking place in council flats in London. What, you think I'm making that up? You do remember the snack bar exorcist voodoo healing centre in East London, don't you? Yeah, we've got all the trendy fads in the capital city of the UK now. The ONS said the main reason behind the fall last year was a drop in non-EU nationals arriving, and post-Brexit there was a large increase in immigration on purpose because everybody who rules the UK with an iron fist of every party knows for a fact that the number one reason for Brexit was immigration. Everyone knows it, you know it, I know it. We did say it was about not kowtowing to the EU, having our control over our own destiny, our own laws, blah blah, but really the number one issue was immigration, and it has been for 25 years, so they purposely brought in millions and millions of foreigners on purpose to punish you for daring to vote for it. Obviously, the long-term game being, we'll just swamp them with 20 million Africans and then they'll just vote to rejoin in 2030. You all know it. This isn't up for debate. That's what they did. Might I suggest you should be as stubborn a twat as I am and refuse to ever allow them to take you back into the EU. I don't care if the entire Thames was on fire and 50,000 Moors are gorilla humping Desmond Tutu on Nelson's column. I don't care. I don't care how bad it gets. It's not happening. It's not happening. And if they try to make it happen, I think I'll go a little bit mental. Anyway, here's the rub. The decrease in net migration is likely to be temporary. Yeah, weird that, innit? And lower immigration will eventually feed through into lower emigration. Well, that's probably true, innit? That's probably true. Because a lot of people miss home. Even I do, and I live somewhere nice. I'd be willing to go home if I knew that I wouldn't have to watch Africans masturbating on public transport anymore. Yeah, that's a tick in the box for Blighty. So yeah, that's true, I'll give you that, lads. However, the number of small boat arrivals was up 3% in the year of March. Of course it was. And the number of people claiming asylum fell by 12% because now they're just going straight into the kebab shops and saying, you give money under table, me get free council house, yes? So there you go. Brilliant. Everything's going grand. And as you see here, gobshite professional Afghan importer Robert Jenrick said the long-term emigration of 246,000 British nationals is the Starmer exodus, and that's perhaps the only time in his entire life that absolute plank has been right about anything, because it is. So that's that. Credit where it's due, right? Credit where it's due. It's good that they've cut some of the numbers, but small boats are up. And I am more concerned about them unvetted terrorists than I am an Indian working in Subway, okay? That's an obvious fact. Credit where it's due, but it's not hard to top someone as bad, someone as much of a traitor, who should definitely be tried for treason, post restore government death penalty, and then, to my great delight, get 40,000 volts blasted through his knackersack live on television, Boris Johnson. It's not hard to top them numbers when they were that bad. So like I said, this is like celebrating coming 7th in the egg and spoon race as far as I'm concerned. Oh yeah, 2 other stories to give a quick mention to. I found that while I was looking at the numbers on the BBC, and they've been telling us for the last 10 years that all the local kids are incels. So basically, if goners and syphilis are up, sounds totally reasonable to blame all that on the dinghy divers as well, doesn't it? None of the white kids are doing it, lads. So this is all down to the surprise sex enthusiasts. Oh yeah, and last but not least, let's have a round of applause for this absolute hero for doing his patriotic duty, having a pop at Rachel Reeves. Sorry, Rachel Reeves.
She's a spastic.
She definitely is, my shaven-headed pal. If you haven't seen this, you must have been living under a rock because it's been all over the socials and we're on social media. But if I've got any followers who aren't on X, here's what happened outside a petrol station when Rachel Reeves was bragging about the fact that she's absolutely tanked the economy and ruined it for 40 years, but she's froze fuel duty for a year. Again, tallest midget in the pub.
Nigel Farage! You are Nigel! We're going to get arrested! We've got English flags on here, Rachel! We're going to get arrested! You're ruining the country! Get Keir Starmer out! Look, England flags! You're useless! Labour Party's useless!
I love our country, and one of the things about our country is good manners. Not very British. I love our country. Not very British.
Brilliant, that, wasn't it? Not very British. Remember Alan Partridge when he's doing that "I am a robot" thing? Why do they all speak like that? It's proper weird. If you see videos of Starmer and Reeves back in the day, they talk like normal humans, and then they go through all this coaching, like Merkel and Gavin Newsom do. They go for all this weird coaching, like talk with your hands all the time, lads, and make sure you use this weird toneless accent. And at the end of it, they end up looking like spastics who talk like androids. Not very British.
Not very British.
Well, what's that all about? Also, I'm not having a communist tell me what's not very British. Thanks. We all know what you think of your own country, Rachel. You absolute spastic. In fact, here, have another one.
You stupid slag!
There you go, you earned that. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you happy about the numbers? Might I suggest you not be? Because I'm running out of colourful ways to brag about being completely useless at everything, but that's basically what they're doing. I see nothing to be happy about. Topping Boris Johnson's achievements could have been done by anyone. And that's that. All right, thanks for tuning in. Like and share it if you can be arsed, and I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, toodle pip. Cheers.